Tonight, an I-Team special report uncovering new developments and questions in the Molly Young investigation.
It's a case we are following closely. Here's Crystal Britt. Molly's story isn't losing steam. In fact, it is gaining. Just take a look at the Justice for Molly Facebook page. More than 25,000 members and growing. The special prosecutor assigned to this case tells me that he is much closer to making a public update on the reinvestigation of Molly's death.
We don't want a halfway investigation and put a rubber stamp on insufficient evidence.
Larry Young, a father on a mission. He in no way believes his 21-year-old daughter Molly put a gun to her head and pulled the trigger.
We want truth to come out. We want every stone turned over.
We've told you about some of the initial concerns. Over time, new questions emerge. It's believed Molly died in the early morning hours of March 24th.
It's just unbelievable.
Close friend Cullen Stout was with Molly on the night of the 22nd and into the early hours of the 23rd.
It was almost like a celebratory night, like we were going out to kind of celebrate the next chapter of whatever might be her life.
Molly and Cullen went to a concert at the Hangar 9 in Carbondale.
There was a band playing that Molly suggested that we go see.
Cullen says he picked Molly up between 8 and 9 p.m.
We were out until definitely 1:30, maybe 2 a.m.
So here's what doesn't make sense, and it's all in the police records. This shows the search history on Molly's home laptop. Multiple suicide searches. Looking at the date and time, all but a handful were made during the time Cullen Stout says Molly was with him.
There were many people that saw us.
Back at the apartment complex where Molly died, concerns on why police didn't interview more tenants.
I was the former property manager at West Hill Circle.
Did the police ever talk to you?
No, I've never heard a word from anyone.
Her son, a tenant at the time, lived right across the parking lot from where Molly died.
Why was my son not questioned? There were 32 units in that complex. Every single apartment should have been a door knocked on.
The consensus is that there is some evidentiary matters that need to be looked into.
Charlie Lamont, a retired police officer, now heading up an independent investigative committee of current and retired officers and coroners.
All we've ever asked for is a fair and complete investigation.
The Jackson County State's attorney stood in front of reporters last summer saying there was not enough evidence to move forward. But he said,
should additional information become available, I have pledged to the Youngs and I have sworn to the public that it will be considered.
We're hoping that that word pans out.
Larry Young refuses to give up hope.
I'm going to fight this case whether the statute of limitation runs out or not. If I have to go to Washington, D.C. and start knocking on doors, I plan on doing that.
Larry Young wants to see this case reach a grand jury, but not without further investigation. Special Prosecutor Ed Parkinson tells me a number of interviews and re-interviews were attempted and/or completed by Illinois State Police over the past 3 months. He says his office is about a month out from releasing the new results of this re-investigation. Crystal Britt, Heartland News.